I started making Digimon videos, believe it or not, in 2020, with the first one not blowing up until around my birthday of that year. And in 2020 and in 2022, I gave my top 10 Digimon evolution lines, and the first one was a little bit ropey and badly informed, second one pretty good, but it's now been a whole 2 years since I last did this, and a bunch more Digimon have been revealed or added to the Digimon reference book. So on today's video, it's time to go over my new top 10 Digimon evolution lines. What is up, digital companions? My name is Karn EX and welcome back to another video. And oh my god, the third top 10 evolution lines video. I like doing this like every 2 years as long as I still make videos. So I guess the next one you'll see if this might be 2026. That's crazy. When I talk about Digimon evolution lines, we're going to go from rookie through to mega. In training and baby doesn't really matter. I might talk about a couple of them here and there. But this is purely my favorite, not the objective best or anything like that. Just my top 10 full evolution lines. And there are some Digimon that would be in my top 10 individual Digimon, but their full lines don't quite make it. That's why I want to give an honorable mention to Zubamon, Hagurumon, Vmon, X-Vmon, Lugamon, Yolkmon, who I adore, but unfortunately Terromon's evolution line, while good, is not a top 10 for me. Herismon, I adore you, don't love your evos too much. Junkmon, fantastic new Digimon. Madomon, one of the competition winners, an absolute beautiful little dog Digimon. Potemon, my boy, an easy top 5 Digimon, but I don't love any real evolution line we could craft for him. I need more cute food Digimon. All of these Digimon I absolutely adore, but like I say, I either don't love their full evolution lines or couldn't craft a good full anime style evolution line that I actually love. So we begin with number 10, which is Lopmon's line. Now this is not going to be the dark Lopmon line, but specifically I love the kind of light line for Lopmon. Lopmon to Taruimon to Antilamon and Cherubimon Virtue. Unfortunately, I'm going to get this out of the way, Terriermon is no longer in my top 10 evolution lines. I think honestly, as much as I am a fan of Terriermon and Gargomon, Rapidmon and Mega Gargomon are really sliding off my favorites list in recent years. I do also like Digivolving into Wendymon and eventually Cherubimon Vice, but I just love this rabbit line. I think as a kid I always wanted to see what Lopmon's Terriermon equivalent line would be, and only found out it existed many years later, and I love it. And we're keeping the rabbit theme going because my number 9 pick is the Lunamon line, and Coronamon also not on this list. Lunamon to Lekismon. Lekismon probably my least favorite of that whole line, but then leading into Cressamon and Dianamon, and I am gonna count it, Grace Novamon, the DNA Digivolution with Apollomon, one of my favorite Digimon of all time. This is a wonderful line. And Digivolving from Moonmon, which got new art recently, absolutely beautiful. A Moondrop Digimon is absolutely brilliant. Kinda wish it got its own full-on baby form, not Yukimi Bottomon, but we move. And next, well, I did that video recently about RIP the Digimon Vital Bracelet, so it looks like it's true. And the Digimon Vital Bracelet began, and we're fairly certain ended, on Pulsemon. Pulsemon keeps getting done dirty. The Vital Bracelet ignored his cards, sometimes good, sometimes not. And when he finally gets a B memory, the upgraded dim cards for the thing that he helped jumpstart, most of his evolutions aren't even on it because it's a Seekers related B memory. There are some fantastic Pulsemon evolutions, and Digivolution is free, so while this video is about evolution lines, I want to give a huge shout out to how varied yet thematic Pulsemon's branching original dim card evolutions are. Namakemon, Bulkmon, Examon, Runamon, they're all fantastic. All of these different Digimon referencing different types of exercise. Shootmon being a baseball player and catcher. Tempomon being like a capoeira dancer. Even Pistmon, stupid name, stupid guy, but kinda cool. But if I do have to pick one line for Pulsemon, I'm going a little bit normal and a little bit weird. I personally, of course, love his baby and in training. Pulsemon himself. Then my favorite champion is Runamon. It reminds me of Raidramon, one of my favorite armor Digimon of all time, and is just a fantastic Pulsemon Evo that I think doesn't get as much love as Bulkmon. Unfortunately, I don't like Runamon becoming Pistmon in my personal evolution line, so I do think the best of the bunch here is Boutmon. I think having Runamon over Bulkmon makes the line a little bit less boring, a little bit more of a fun, alternative Pulsemon line. And to that end, my absolute favorite Pulsemon Mega, Kazuchimon, fine, Shivamon, great, Achillesmon, pretty good, but Shroudmon is my boy. Absolutely adore Shroudmon. Glad he at least got to be in the card game. Maybe we'll see him in Digimon Liberator or something, but Pulsemon to Runamon to Boutmon and then Shroudmon, that's my Pulsemon line. We will miss you, baby boy. And going from one slightly demonic looking mega to a whole line of evil looking guys, of course Keramon made the top 10. Keramon to Chrysalimon to Infamon and Diaboromon. I also adore Sumemon, one of my favorite in trainings, and Kuramon is so cute. All those gifts from Revenge of Diaboromon are seared in my memory forever. Thank you, Digimon fandom. Keramon as well is just one of those Digimon that just sticks out to me. It's so unique and it's so underutilized, honestly. While it is in things like very prominent things, like the Our War Game movie, as well as things like the card game and stuff, I feel like we have yet to get a Keramon outing that I'm really proud of, that I can really cheer for my boy, like as a partner Digimon or something. And this is not impossible. We're looking at Digimon Liberator now where Bemon, who digivolves into potentially the destroyer of the world, gets to be a partner Digimon. Ghostmon is there. We've seen things like Dracmon be partner Digimon in Digimon Survive. I think Keramon's time to be a protagonist or prominent character partner is right up there, and I'd be really curious to see. While I love Keramon to Chrysalimon to Infamon to Diaboromon, and even obviously adding Armageddonmon in the end, wouldn't it be interesting if we had something that happened like the Impmon in Liberator that branches from Champion instead of going into the typical like Wizardmon, Balmon, Beelzemon, or even Beelstarmon, which we think is also going to happen. We instead got this brand new line with Impmon becoming basically Guilmon evolution variant as a reference to the fact that Guilmon was almost the partner Digimon of Tamers. I think it'd be super neat to see Keramon, when it becomes Chrysalimon, becomes that Chrysalis, have something else come forward. Not a Demon Lord, not an Angel Digimon, but something maybe, at least at the Mega stage, reminiscent of Sendrillmon, the new Digimon from Liberator. It's not an angel, but it's still reminiscent of things like Androwamon, Ophanimon, etc., but it's its own class of Digimon, and I'd like to see that for Keramon. Maybe something more redeemed, but still kinda weird. Not an angel, not a demon, just something else. But regardless, Kuramon to Sumemon to Keramon to Chrysalimon to Infamon and Diaboromon with Armageddonmon on the end is one of my favorite Digivolution lines of all time. And hey, speaking of Digimon Liberator, I swear this isn't recency bias, Ghostmon is one of the partner Digimon in Liberator. I've held a candle, pun intended, for Ghostmon for ages now, and I loved it in particular on the Dynasty of the Evil Dim. Now, we don't really have a full evolution line for Ghostmon that is like specifically for him. He's more associated with general spooky Digimon, though we do suspect that Ghostmon is going to get a new evolution line specifically designed for him in Liberator. The most recent chapters did not reveal that, but I think it is going to happen. However, before we have that, I personally really like a specific route on the Dynasty of the Evil Dim card, which folds in a bunch of my favorites. That's Ghostmon becoming Wizardmon, though honestly, just for the vibes, I might put my boy Potemon here, or even Witchmon. And either way, Wizardmon, Witchmon, Potemon, the ultimate would then be Pumpkinmon, one of my absolute boys, adore him. And finally, Noble Pumpkinmon, who got its time in the sun in Eirias, but Eirias is dead now. That Pumpkinmon and Noble Pumpkinmon outing is just nowhere to be seen, and I feel like we haven't had as much love for Pumpkinmon since, really only seeing the gigantic Pumpkinmon in the Digimon Vital Bracelet for Halloween, and of course on these Dim cards. Indeed, while Pumpkinmon has cards, Noble Pumpkinmon still has no cards in the TCG, so I'm hoping with Liberator maybe that will be the case. I would love Noble Pumpkinmon to be part of this line. I might even like Ghostmon to become like a Jack-O-Lantern before becoming Pumpkinmon and Noble Pumpkinmon, but either way, this is my line for Ghostmon. I have to have Ghostmon in my top 10, and I think this is a good enough line to justify him not being a solo YOLO. And hey, you know I love the D Brigade. Commandramon has to be in this evolution line, and his pre-evolutions Bombmon and Missymon.
New challenger!
But no, we are not going to be digivolving him to Sealstramon, Tankdramon, god damn it, and Darkdramon this time. No, my new absolute favorite Digimon evolution line for Commandramon comes from Digimon Seekers, and that is Commandramon to High Commandramon. Love having a kind of Greymon feeling evolution for Commandramon, to Cargodramon, a hugely versatile, great vehicle Digimon that I adore, and finally Brigadramon. People say this isn't a War Greymon variant. It very clearly is based on War Greymon, even if the lore doesn't fully confirm it yet. That's a War Greymon variant right there, but part of the D Brigade, and absolutely phenomenal. This is a clear high tier line for me, and that is why Commandramon ranks so well in my evolution lines list. But is my top 5 largely the same as the past 2 times? Well, Digimon Liberator introduced us to Shumon, and I instantly fell in love. Before we even had a name for the little fella, I was in love. The theme of fairy tales, its little button eye, it being a little mouse with a needle and thread in a shoe is just adorable. It is one of the best Digimon designs we have ever got, and for it to exist in 2024, to be revealed at the end of 2023, proves to me that Digimon designs are far from getting stale. Its champion form, Shumon, I will admit is probably my least favorite of its entire line. However, I still think it's great. But then we move on to Peak with Chaperomon, a Little Red Riding Hood based fairy tale Digimon with these wolf slippers and of course the basket which kind of looks like Gekomon, before ending on the glass slipper, Sendromon. Shoutouts to my Persona fans. The Cinderella Digimon surrounded by mice and birds, literally born from the data of Cinderella. I love this Digimon. The fact it has fighting tournaments it calls balls, as in ballroom dancing, not D's, and it just being so unique while also feeling like it works in the pantheon of Digimon. My god, look at this evolution line. It is peak Digimon. It makes sense in its connections, but also it makes such wonderful leaps that make it feel intrinsically Digimon and not as predictable as other monster franchises. You can see how thematically Shumon to Shumon to Chaperomon and Centralmon works, but you can also see how many different elements there are going on here which make them versatile for different Digivolution lines too. Absolute masterclass. And hey, another Digimon that's actually in Digimon Liberator. You know, between Fanbeamon and this next Digimon, I really do think Digimon Liberator was made specifically for me, as well as adding Ghostmon. I mean, damn. Someone out there, Bandai, watching? You can tell me, it's okay. Yeah, retaining a top spot in my list is Blucomon. Its normal evolution line, Blucomon to Paildramon to Chris Paildramon, and finally Hexablaumon. I long championed for this guy. Bear in mind, when I first found out about this guy, it was basically still a Chinese exclusive Digimon. We had not seen it in the Vital Bracelet, the card game, or anything, and I feel so happy and so vindicated that the Digimon creative team, and perhaps the world at large, have seen the beauty of Blucomon and its evolutions, and that's why perhaps it's not a top 2 contender anymore. It is still phenomenal, but I feel like almost my time is done. I've done the work, I've put in the effort for Blucomon, and now he gets to be enjoyed by a whole swathe of new Digimon fans, or fans who weren't aware of him before. I'm so proud of him and his evolution line. I'm so excited to see more of Hexablaumon specifically in relation to Witchelney, but that's why he is my number 3. So, the top 2 slot. If you've been watching me for a while now, thank you so much by the way, and if you haven't, hey, make sure you like and subscribe, I'd appreciate seeing more of you around here. You'll know that basically I have 2 top favorite Digimon, but one of them at this point is my number 1, is my partner Digimon, which means my second favorite Digimon evolution line of all time is Leafmon to Minomon to Wormmon to Stingmon, and then Paildramon and Imperialdramon fighter mode, and then Dragon and Paladin to a lesser extent. Yes, Wormmon is not my top anymore. I love him. He will always be my boy. He is one of my favorite Digimon of all time. I will say as well, I do like Stingmon digivolving into Jewel Beamon and Bancho Stingmon, but I still want a non-Bancho Stingmon Mega that isn't Gran or Grandis Kuwagamon, and I am personally a huge fan of Paildramon, so I love using it in Stingmon's evolution line these days. So yeah, that full Wormmon, it's always going to be my boy. I loved him in Digimon Adventure 02. I always wanted him to be my partner Digimon when I was a kid. However, later on in life, I discovered another Digimon. And yeah, again, if you've been watching this channel for a while now, you know what my number 1 is. It's Pupumon to Paroromon to Fanbeamon to...
Here comes a new challenger!
Forge Beamon, Cannon Beamon, and Queen Beamon. Yes, we got brand new B Digimon in Digimon Liberator. Forge Beamon, Vespamon, and Queen Beamon. Vespamon, of course, digivolving into Tiger Vespamon. Queen Beamon kind of acting like a digivolution for Cannon Beamon, and Forge Beamon replacing Waspmon. So now we have 2 branches, basically. Fan Beamon to Forge Beamon to Cannon Beamon to Queen Beamon, and Fan Beamon to Waspmon to Vespamon to Tiger Vespamon, but of course these lines can all merge anyway. They're all members of the Royal Base, and I have never been more happy. Waspmon was probably my least favorite member of the Fanbeamon evolution line, and while I love Tiger Vespamon, I did kind of wish we'd have something else. I think for me, actually, I do slightly prefer the design of Tiger Vespamon. However, I much prefer what the design ideas and purpose of Queen Beamon is. As such, this is my ideal line. Forge Beamon, I could never have asked for more. I am so excited it's here. This big Bumblebee Forger is phenomenal. Having Cannon Beamon, who's probably my second favorite below Fanbeamon himself, and then finally ending on Queen Beamon or Tiger Vestmon, I'm honestly happy, is my ideal Fan Beamon line, and Fan Beamon would be my partner Digimon if I got to choose, just like Toei Animation thinks we get to choose. That said though, I still adore the other members of the royal base. Waspmon, Vespamon, Tiger Vestmon, you are all fantastic. I am so glad that Digimon Liberator exists and has given me more of the bees that I adore. I could not ask for more, so thank you all so much for watching my new top 10 evolution lines video of 2024. Fan Beamon, of course, at the tippy top. I love him. Thank you people at Bandai Namco who gave Fan Beamon new evolutions. I appreciate you very much. Thank you all so much for watching. If you would consider becoming a patron over on patreon.com/Karn EX to fund more independent Digimon videos, it would mean the world, especially if you want to see more custom art videos. There is a tier dedicated to paying for custom art, and of course there is my sovereign ZDK14, the tippy toppest patron tier. Thank you to ZDK14, thank you to my patrons, and thank you to my channel members. I appreciate you all very much. Thank you so much for being members here on YouTube. This was a ton of fun. It felt like a very retro Karn EX style video, but I appreciate you for watching it, and I had a ton of fun making it, and I'll see you next time when we go digital. Bye bye.